Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we'll be talking about how do we solve trigonometric equation in this video. Previously, I just gave a quick overview on the trig graphs and the concept around the trig graph like sine, cosine, and tan. But here now I'm going to talk about how do we solve trig equations. So in this video, I'm going to just introduce the concept, okay, of trig equations, and later in the next video we're going to talk about how to solve for trig equation with simple angles and with multiple angles, and we'll keep on moving that way. All right, so before I proceed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you've not done so, I don't know what you're waiting for. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. So basically, I'm going to talk about the cast or the act diagram. So basically what I'm going to talk here, I'm going to talk about some textbook, we call it a the cast diagram, okay? So if you're going upwards, or some call it the act diagram. So if you're going downwards, okay? So it's called the cast or act diagram. So depending on what you have. So for instance, when we talk about it, the diagram basically look like this. So basically you have so if you're talking about it as cast, it's going to be C, A, S, T. But if you're talking at like act, it's going to be A, C, T, S. So if you're coming downwards from this point, you call it act. Does that make sense? So it's going to be ACTS. Or if you're going upwards, so it's going to be called cast, CAST. All right. So what does this mean? So basically, we use this diagram to solve trigonometry equations, and it helps us to remember the signs of the trig function. It also helps us to talk about the angle that needs to be calculated. Okay, so in order for us to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write a quick overview about the cast diagram. Okay, so first thing is that the diagram is used to solve trig equations. So because I'm aware that some students do write, so I'm going to write it down. So the diagram is used to solve trigonometric equation. Okay, so and also in addition to this, it also helps us in addition to this, it helps us to, number one, we use it to remember the signs of a trig function in each quadrant. Okay. Then after that, it also helps us to know what happens to the angle that needs to be calculated. Okay. Oh, let's say, yeah, let's say to know All right, so it helps us to remember the signs of the trigonometric function in each quadrant. It also helps us to know what happens to the angle that needs to be calculated. So if we're going to write the axis diagram again, so like I said, it looks like this. Okay, so we have A, C, TS, or you can call it a cast diagram, depending what you want to do. So now, what does this imply? It implies that in this one, it means all the angles are positives. Okay, so basically it tells us which of the angles here are positive. So in this example here, for the A, it means all the angles are positive. All right, for C, it means cosine only. Okay, for C, it means cosine only is positive. For T, it means that the tangent of the angle is positive. And for S, it means that the sine of the angle is positive. And for the cosine, how you get that angle is 360 minus what? Theta. For the tangent, is 180 plus theta. And for the sine of the angle is 180 minus theta. All right. So there are videos I have where you talk about this in depth. How do we derive and how do we know that this is 180 minus theta? But I'm not going to go straight into that because I'm just giving an overview in this video. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that for sine of an angle, okay, the second angle or the angle that will be positive is going to be 180 plus theta. Sorry, 180 minus theta. For the tangent of an angle, it's going to be 180 plus theta. And for the cosine, it's going to be 360 minus what? Theta. All right, so that is it. So basically, in summary, what I'm trying to say is that all three functions are positive in the first quadrant. So basically, this is what we call, so when you're labeling this, we go anti-clockwise. So that means this here is going to be, this is the first quadrant, okay? This is going to be the second quadrant. This is going to be the third quadrant. And this is going to be the fourth quadrant, okay? So in the first quadrant here, all the angles are positive. In the second quadrant here, only sine is positive. In the third quadrant, only tangent is positive. And in the fourth quadrant, only the cosine is positive. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write this down because I'm aware that some of you do take notes, okay? So in summary, so for the first one, so we're looking at A here. So A, all right? So it means that all the trig functions are positive. So in the second quadrant, only the sine is positive, okay? So in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. Now, in the third quadrant, only the tangent is positive. And in the fourth quadrant, only cosine is positive. Okay, so in summary, so what we are trying to say here is that in the first quadrant, all are positive. In the second quadrant, only the sine is positive. In the third, only tangent is positive. And the fourth, only cosine is what? Positive. So basically, this is all we're going to talk about the cast diagram in this video. So what we're going to be talking about moving forward, I'm going to talk about basically how do we solve trig equations. So in this series, we're going to be talking about how do we solve trig equations. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about simple angles. So we'll talk about how to solve simple angles. And we'll be talking about how to solve multiple angles as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about in two sections: simple angles and multiple angles. So the next video, I'm going to go straight to solving the simple angles, and we'll see what we can I'll explain the concept and the steps on how to do it. And the next video after that, I'm going to talk about the multiple angles. All right, so that is that for uh the overview I want to talk about for the cast diagram. So um yep, so it's either called cast or act. So usually we go anti-clockwise, okay? So that's why it's called cast, but sometimes if you want to write it, you want to go clockwise, it's called act. And also that means this is the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant, okay? So, and after that, I also explained to you that you need to remember the signs of this. And for sine is 180 minus theta. Only sine is positive in the second quadrant. Then in the third quadrant, only tangent is positive, it's 180 plus theta. And in the fourth quadrant, only cosine is positive, 360 minus what? Theta. All right, so that is that for that. So I'm going to go to the next video. I'm going to see in the next video where we talk about how do we solve simple what? Angles. So how you solve trigonometric equation having simple angles. So I'll see you soon. All right, so please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any question, please do let me know.